Hey everybody, we are back here at the unboxing rock with an unboxing video. Who would have thought? And yeah, so this is, I don't know exactly what I'm going to title this, but this is my most expensive Balisong to date, my first live blade from Squid Industries. This Balisong is a lot of things, and I'm very excited but also very afraid. Because if I hate this Balisong, oh boy, there's gonna be some people that are not happy with me. But here's what I got in the package. I got the, standard Squid Industries box with a little sticker, very cute. Has the pull tab. And let's just see what we're working with here. So yeah, looks like, oh look at that. We have what I think is some spare hardware. Yeah, so spare hardware. It looks like, yeah, washers and pivots, no bushings, unfortunately. But still, it's cool to get something. We have another Squid Industries sticker. And inspection was done by them. Yeah, this was on April 18th. All right. I can also say that since the last time I got a Squid Industries product, they have changed their bag a little bit. This one is more of like a canvas material. The last bag that I got from them was more like silk. But yeah, let's see. Oh, I'm so nervous. All right, so here. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Oh wow, and they even, wow. Okay, there she is. Squid Industries Krake Raken with the sapphire blue blade. Gonna go in for my first flips. Oh, okay. I'll be a little conservative with the tricks that I'm doing, I think. Okay. Oh, I'm so scared. Now I'm scared because it's a live bladed. It seems to be decently sharp, and I don't want to drop it on any of this. But yeah, wow. This thing is beautiful. When I saw that they were releasing these, I was kind of like, I kind of gotta have one, right? I mean, they are so beautiful. And just so happens that all that they had left in stock was these silver handles with the sapphire blue blade. And that's probably what I would have gone for, to be honest, is the silver handles, because I think it just looks so nice. And it was the Tonto, which is the shape that I wanted. I was just like, ooh, meant to be. Absolutely meant to be. This thing is stunning. Yeah, okay. I can immediately understand why the Krake Raken is such a staple in the community. This is a very good Balisong. Whoa. And honestly, it's more neutral than I was expecting. I don't know if I can quite say it is neutral, but compared to the Balisongs I was, not the Orion, but some of the other Balisongs I've been flipping lately, this is much more neutral. I think the, from what I remember, also the Tonto is slightly more neutral than the Bowie. Bowie being more handle biased, and then the Weehawk being somewhere in the middle. So this is interesting. This is actually, I was not expecting it to flip like this. I was actually expecting a much more kind of handle biased experience. But no, this is not that. I think it's like I said in one of my previous video, where the Krake Raken handles are just designed in such a way that they don't have any weight at the end of them. Their weight is much more even throughout. So as a result, when you flip things, it tends to feel less handle bias. Because for me, the big thing that makes something feel more handle bias is a lot of end weight in the handles. And the Kraken has no end weight in the handles. But yeah, this flips very well. I guess I don't need to explain a lot about the flipping because a lot of you would know what a Kraken feels like, and it flips like a Kraken. But for me, I think this is huge because as somebody who makes videos on Balisongs and talks about, reviews Balisongs, I think that having a Kraken in my kind of arsenal is almost essential as just a baseline to compare things to. And I'll say it's a very good baseline. Bushings are, well, oh. Okay, the bushings aren't tuned that great, I'll be honest. Not as good as they could be. I'm hoping it'll just kind of loosen up a little over time, maybe. It might just need lubed too. I don't have lube with me, but we'll see if it gets better with some lube. But yeah, the only thing I can really say about this one, at least specifically, is it does feel a little bit sluggish compared to some Balisongs. I think it's just because it hasn't been lubed recently. But yeah, let's do a sound test. Yeah, I'd say that is fairly bouncy. I've heard more, but I've definitely heard less out of the box, so you know, that's not bad. However, like I said, this is the most amount of money I've ever spent on a Balisong. And with that in mind, I think it could be better. Now obviously, this Kraken is not the price of a normal Kraken. It was more expensive. And it was actually a little cheaper because this is a blemished one. I understand that. So with that in mind, for what the Kraken is normally priced at, I think the tune should be better. I know that Squid, their tunes have not been as good because they've just been, they're a bigger company now. They've expanded, they're shipping out more and more Balisongs, and it's harder to maintain that same level of quality on a larger scale. I understand that, but anything above $200, I think that tuning should be your #1 priority. You know, designing and making sure that there's no blemishes and things is big, but if the tune is not perfect, then the flipping is not going to be as good as it could be. Which, granted, if there was extra washers or extra bushings included, sorry, I wouldn't care, because okay, if I wanted a better tune, I can tune it myself. But to not include extra bushings, that means you really need to make sure that the tune is so good, there's no reason for anyone to ever want different bushings. And this tune is okay. It's solid. Yeah, I mean, look, there's some play in the handles. Obviously no tap, but there's play in the handles for something I paid about $300 for. So, you know. Now, I know some people, you know, it's harder nowadays with companies like Nabali's basically giving you no play out of the box for 50 bucks. But Squid, I would just like to see a better tune. I would like to see them take the time and just really focus on locking in something like their tuning process. Even if it means less Balisongs are getting made, or it means that, you know, less R&D, so they're not releasing as many new products. If the overall quality of what they do produce would go up, I think that would be a huge plus for them. Because as a company, Squid Industries is still loved by the community, but I feel like it's to a much lesser degree than they used to be. Now granted, there's other new makers in the space that weren't there previously, kind of taking some of the spotlight. But I think that Squid really just needs to step up their game if they want to maintain kind of their position in the hobby. Don't get me wrong, they're a great company. This is a great Balisong. But yeah, for the amount of money I paid, I would just like to see a better tune. That's all really. These bushings are just a little bit undersized. That's why we have, yeah. So this is kind of like the machine-wise tests for a tune. Is basically just doing this, your handles should be able to go all the way, and they shouldn't get caught anywhere. If it's getting caught, that means that the bushing is undersized, and essentially the screw is tightening down on the blade instead of on the bushing in that spot. And that's happening all over every like point on this. And even the swing test, that's not optimal swing. Optimal swing would be more than that. So I will see as it breaks in if it gets better, and once I oil it, if it gets better, you know. So definitely check out my follow-up video, because all of these issues might go away, and we will see. But out of the box, that's a little disappointing. Companies like Machine-Wise, you know, they don't do that. Honestly, I would even say a company like Balisong has a better tune out of the box. It'll have more play, but the swing will be better than that. So, you know, but basically, you know, this seems to have come with slightly undersized bushings. So I imagine that these screws are not even tightened in all the way. They're just Loctited in place, which will work. But yeah, maybe one day I will get a new set of replacement bushings and tune it myself to really get that perfect tune. But honestly, the only reason I'm harping on Squid for the tuning is because that's the only thing out of the box that I can complain about. Even with this being a blemish, I'm not exactly sure where the blemish is, unless it's just uneven of the finishedness with the sapphire here. Because I can see that some parts are lighter than others, but you know, that might just be how they are. I'm sure it's not an exact science with this kind of thing. But honestly, other than that, I do not see any issues with it. So yeah, I'd have to imagine it's that, but that doesn't really bother me at all, because it's kind of like lighter on the blade and looks to be darker on the flats, which is fine. Yeah, honestly, it's a Kraken. It flips like a Kraken. It flips very well. I'm very happy to have it. It's probably going to become one of my favorite Balisongs in my collection, if we're being honest. Not because I'm like a Squid Industries shill, as you guys can tell. It's just a really good Balisong, and I love the Kraken handles. I think they're super comfortable. So yeah, honestly, I think the only thing that could be improved here is the tune. I guess also, I think a chamfer or some more rounding done on the spine of the blade here. You don't feel it when you're doing chaplains. It feels perfectly smooth because it's was it crowned. But the transition from that kind of crown to the flat is a little rough. Maybe it could have been rounded more, but it would probably, you know, I'm just pulling hairs here. For the amount of money I paid, I would like a better tune, but everything works really well. It flips really well. It looks super cool. So yeah, no real complaints except for the tuning. And that's honestly all that I can really come up with. I'd love to know what you guys think of this Balisong, the way it looks, or just what you think about Krakens in general, thoughts on Squid Industries, anything like that. If there's any Balisong I have that you want me to compare this to, I'd be more than happy to compare it to like an Orion or a Sirius. I know at one point the Orion was called the Kraken Killer, or maybe it was the Sirius. I don't. People call everything from LDY a Kraken Killer, even though they're two very different Balisongs. But yeah, that was pretty much. That's really all that I have to say about it. I really do hope that you guys have enjoyed. Hope you all have a great day, and till next time, keep flipping.